On Government Order of the Day number 1.
Inquiries Bill, third reading.
Speaker.
The Honourable Chris Tremaine.
I move that the Inquiries Bill be now read a third time. This bill is intended to reform and modernise the law relating to inquiries and largely replaces the Commissions of Inquiry Act of 1908. It was introduced by the previous government in response to a Law Commission review of the law relating to inquiries. The government recognises that the law in this area is long overdue for an update. Mr Speaker, contrary to reports, this bill was not forgotten by the government. The bill was reported from the Government Administration Committee in 2009. Of course, the Minister of Internal Affairs then was the Honourable Nathan Guy, and I'd also like to thank him for his work at the time. I understand that this created some confusion during the second reading of the bill, as the printed version of the bill was, of course, in the name of the Minister at the time of the Select Committee report. Mr Speaker, I would like to take this opportunity to clarify again that the bill was deliberately put on hold during the Canterbury earthquakes and the Pike River Royal Commissions to enable us to learn from those inquiries and strengthen the bill as a result. Following those Royal Commissions, the Department of Internal Affairs began developing a supplementary order paper, which was close to completion when the whey protein contamination incident arose. This has highlighted the need for a robust inquiry process. I am pleased that we have been able to introduce the supplementary order paper and pass the bill quickly through its remaining stages in response to this incident, and I thank all members of the House for that. The bill provides a much stronger framework for that inquiry to occur. Up until now, ministerial inquiries have been operating outside of a statutory framework. The bill will ensure that government inquiries have the powers and protections necessary to be effective. The bill provides a modern framework in which inquiries will be able to operate in the future, and we largely have the Law Commission and Select Committee process to thank for that. It provides for two new types of inquiry: public inquiries and government inquiries, while recognising and providing for royal commissions established under the letters patent. Public inquiries will be established for matters of significant public importance. Government inquiries will deal with more immediate issues where a quick and authoritative answer is required from an independent inquiry. All types of inquiry will have the same legal powers and protections available to them. Mr Speaker, I would like to thank members for their constructive comments from across the House in the Committee of the Whole House stage and for their support for the amendments that were put forward. Those amendments arose from lessons learned from the recent two Royal Commissions of Inquiry and will provide greater procedural flexibility and clarity. I intend to arrange for the publication of the Cabinet paper detailing the work on those amendments on the Department of Internal Affairs website shortly. I'm also pleased that we were able to support the amendment brought forward by the Honourable Trevor Mallard, which will ensure that inquiries give due consideration to the need for open justice when considering whether to withhold information. We recognise the importance of justice being done and being seen to be done. An open process is important for establishing or re-establishing public confidence and for perceptions of independence. However, we also agree with the Law Commission that while inquiries should be as open as possible, there will be cases where their purposes are better served without formal hearings, and where witnesses can speak freely without the fear of public exposure. The bill provides that an inquiry can set out its own access regime, including the circumstances in which access to evidence, documents and hearings may be restricted. Mr Speaker, I would also like to thank Holly Walker for raising in the committee stage the importance of participants in an inquiry having protections under the law. The privileges set out in the Evidence Act 2006 relating to confidentiality, religious communications, matters of state and confidential journalistic sources will apply to inquiries in the same way that they apply before the courts for civil proceedings. Under the new regime, documentation from both public inquiries and government inquiries will be subject to the Official Information Act once an inquiry has reported. However, it will be possible to withhold information on specified grounds, such as where a submission provided to an inquiry contains sensitive information. The bill also provides for the way in which the Public Records Act will apply to inquiry documentation once the inquiry has concluded. The Inquiries Bill is intended to eventually replace the outdated Commissions of Inquiry Act. Only sections 2 and 15 of the 1908 Act are repealed by this bill, which relate to the appointment of commissions of inquiry and royal commissions respectively. This is because a number of other statutory entities take their powers from the 1908 Act. However, the bill requires a review of the powers of these entities to commence within 5 years of the new Act entering force. And that review will identify whether the powers required by these entities can be more appropriately provided for in other legislation, allowing the final repeal of the 1908 Act. Mr. Speaker, can I take this opportunity to thank my team in the Department of Internal Affairs. They have dealt with this bill for a number of years now, and they are very pleased to see it moving forward and entering legislation in the House. And can I particularly acknowledge the hard work of Brian Hesketh and Kate Timlin for their work on this bill. It has been satisfying to see widespread support for the bill as it has progressed through the House. Once again, I'd like to thank the Law Commission for the extensive review it carried out into the law relating to inquiries. I am pleased that as a consequence of the Commission's review and this bill, inquiries will now operate within a regime that reflects modern practices. And that, Mr. Speaker, is a good thing. Mr. Speaker, I commend this bill to the House.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. I recognise the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. After all these years, Mr.